Welcome to Home with Simone. My name is Simone, and as always, a huge thank you to each and every single one of you that continuously supports my channel, whether new or existing subscribers. I appreciate you all. Today, I'm taking you along with me on preparing for Christmas dinner. I got as much footage as I can. However, my main focus really was making sure that I was preparing the meal properly. So I think there's a couple of shots I didn't really get because I was just kind of trying to get through it. My final numbers for guests went from 10 to 15, so I had to get cooking from early. When cooking for a lot of people, prep is my best friend, and I tend to like to organize the space from the night before so I can just focus on cooking the day of. I tend to do any of my frying first, frying fish or frying my wings. I like to get that out of the way because I find like the oil does have a smell, and especially when you're frying fish, the last thing you want is your guests to come inside and the home it doesn't smell as inviting as it would smell had it not have been something fishy. So I do the wings first, and then I use the same oil and I go ahead and I fry the fish. But while I was going to fry the wings, I decided to put my macaroni on because I'm going to be making macaroni pie. I am West Indian, I'm Trini Grenadian, and in Grenada, this is a staple for any function. You gotta have your macaroni pie. Now, I know there's a million ways to make it. There's no right or wrong way. This is how I make it, and it works out fine. My family loves it. My guests always love it. It's the most requested meal, and every island makes it a bit different. Some people stir it in. I just feel like when you make macaroni pie, where you live tends to influence what you do with it. So there is no right or wrong way. Just make it how you like it and enjoy it. This is how I do it. First, I boil my pasta. Then I pick my seasonings. In this instance, I just pick some salt, all-purpose seasoning, and white pepper. Add my green onion or scallion and just regular yellow onions. Mix everything together nicely. And then this is where you start to layer it. The one important thing to think about when making a macaroni pie, if you want to make it the way that I'm doing it, is treat it almost like you would a lasagna by adding layers. So you're going to do a layer of pasta. You're going to do a layer of cheese, another layer of pasta, and then you're going to top it off with a layer of cheese. Back home, we also will add some breadcrumbs on the top. I don't like the breadcrumbs. I never have since I was little. But I have a thing about textures. I don't like things that have too many textures. It bothers me. But not to say it doesn't taste good. It does taste really nice. The other thing, which I don't remember if I actually was able to capture on camera, is beat 2 eggs and add some evaporated milk. This is what helps to keep the cheese nice and cheesy throughout the entire thing because you're going to be pouring this on it as it bakes. So that's a really important part if you want to get it the way that mine comes out. And then I'm just frying my chicken here, putting the macaroni pie in the oven, and yeah, we got to head over to the fish. Back home, we got a little fish that looks like this. We call it jacks, one of my favorites. We don't really have that up here, so sometimes I will get the sardines and use those, or the mackerel and use it. This is mackerel here that I'm using. I try to find the smaller ones because I do like to fry them pretty crispy, pretty dry, so you could eat the entire fish. I'm not about eating the fish head, but a lot of people like it. I tend to give it to the girls, which are my dogs. But I do like to do a nice dry fry, and I lightly season this. That's the key. Lightly season it with your choice of seasonings, and then fry it to a complete crisp. This is something that my partner loves, my brother loves, my guests tend to really enjoy. So I'm always happy to make this for them. And again, because I'm frying fish, let's get it out of the way, do all the frying first so that we can really start having some nice, warm smells coming in the home with the other meats that I'm cooking. Let's jump over to peeling some sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. I really do. I think every single time I have a gathering, I do something with sweet potatoes. So today I just peeled them and I'm cutting them up. I'm just going to boil it. No salt, no nothing. I just boil the potatoes. My guests can go ahead and add anything that they want to add to it, should they feel the need to. But for me, I just like the taste of it on its own. It's nice, creamy, rich sweetness. And when you're having a lot of spicy foods, it's always nice to have something to kind of counteract that. Cutting up some peppers because I'm going to be adding this to my curry chicken. I did not season it with the peppers. I just did a pretty basic seasoning and added curry, and I put that aside to soak, or like they like to say in the Western world, marinate. But anyways, adding everything to the pots. Again, I have 2 pots because I wanted to cook quickly and properly. And to do that, I just broke it up, adding my Scotch bonnet to both of these just to add a bit of heat. I'm a cleaner as I go on. I like to clean in between so I'm not left with a huge mess at the end. I highly recommend it. And now I'm just adding my water, and now I'm leaving it up to the stove to make the magic happen. And we're going to move on to the next meat that we're preparing. Then I moved on to my little chickens and my, what is it called? Cornish hens. I forget what it's called. Normally I get quail, but these will have to do because I didn't have any quail. I can't bake a giant bird in my oven. Unfortunately, my oven is really small. And again, this is one of those things that, happens when you're living in a very tiny space, but I still made it happen. I'm going to be making honey barbecue chicken. So I'm just adding the honey barbecue sauce on here now. And while that goes in the oven and starts baking, because I've got to do it in 2 process, I decided I'm just going to work on prepping my charcuterie board. So I'm cutting up the watermelon right now. And I like it to be nice and thin so that when my guests, is eating, it's not dripping all over the place and making a huge mess. Took a watermelon break with the girls. They love watermelon, and Tiny absolutely enjoys it. So I put a nice piece in there for him. I don't know why he was pulling it to the bottom to eat it like that. Normally he doesn't. So now that our 30-second watermelon break is done, it was time to cut the other fruit, which is this really delicious pineapple. I'm allergic to pineapples. I really need to stop eating them. But to be fair, I don't eat it often. And when I eat it, I'll have a little bit. But it's just something I just can't shake. I really do love pineapples. And this one was so delicious. Again, because I'm allergic, I had a very small amount of it. Prepping my charcuterie board, or I should say my charger that I'm using as the charcuterie boards, with some saran wrap just to protect it. And it's just easier to keep it more hygienic, considering you can't really get everything out of the wood. For this board, I'm going to be using the spinach dip. I love these crisps. They're all dressed. They're by Irresistibles. I love the cranberry pumpkin seed. This is such a nice crisp. You can use it on salads as well. The Parmesan and garlic twist by Irresistibles. Delicious. I use those all the time. My mini pitas. This is new. And I figured, I'll give another option to go along with the dip. And then I've got these trio of meats. I was going to add cheese, but I find like after a while the cheese gets a little gross. So I decided not to do cheese. When making a charcuterie board, I think one of the biggest things is don't make what you want to make. Make what you know your guests will enjoy. I see so many beautiful boards and barely anybody is eating anything off of it. So keep in mind your guests, their dietary needs. Whenever I'm entertaining, I will always ask, does anybody have any dietary needs? Because I want to give my company, my guest, the best experience. And I make sure to cater to every individual's dietary needs and preferences. And that way everyone can have a good time. So this board is, again, geared towards the company that I'm having. If I was having different company, I probably would make it a little bit different. My other tip actually for making these boards is instead of trying to make exactly what somebody else is making, you get creative. Use the things that you have. You can always get inspiration from other people. I think that's a really beautiful thing to do, is look at somebody else's work and get so inspired that you want to create it. But when you kind of do your own thing, it makes it that much more special. So the other thing I love to have on a table is these little snack bowls. So I'm putting some nuts, some mix, chocolate covered raisins, mints. Always like to add mints. Some almonds. These are honey roasted almonds, pistachios, and I'm just going to put it together as some quick little finger foods. Again, knowing what your guest likes. This is something that I know 100% my guest likes to have. And it's a great little thing to have on a table that they could nibble on. They can snack on it while they're waiting for the rest of the food or dinner to be served. Let's jump back over here and have a peek at the chicken. Guys, are you ready? There they are. Oh, the smell is just phenomenal. Like, my brother literally came out of the room. He was like, this looks really good. But this is where it gets really fun. So we're about 50% done. And I just moved it over into the other pan. I've already added my honey. I don't think I got that on camera, but you'll see me add it to the other one. So just position in these ones. These are going to be served. And the other ones still needed to go back into the oven a little bit. They did not have as long of a cooking time as the first batch. So I'm just adding the honey. And literally, I just add the honey on top. And then I take some of the liquid from the pan itself and I pour over top of it. And back in the oven it goes. Plantain. This is not a dinner unless I have plantain. It's like, this is just another staple. And then I have my sweet potatoes and I have some more plantain I need to fry that my brother cut and I had on the other side. This is what this is looking like now, guys. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it came out so beautiful. These are my charcuterie boards and my little snack bowls. It stays on this table. I've got pretzels, I've got chips, I've got popcorn. And then over here is where I have all of the foods. I covered it down, the spoons. I have these labels that I got from Dollarama in the wedding section. And I like to use them to just label the foods. I just hot glue gun it to the pan itself. I label everything, cover it down. Foil paper is your best friend when you're cooking for a lot of people with a small space and nowhere to reheat the food because it keeps it really warm. Now, I wanted to create a drink section in the kitchen. I like a drink section in the kitchen because if anything was to spill, it's very easy to clean up. For this section, we're having most of my favorites. So the Goldschlager, which is my absolute favorite. Appleton. I love Appleton. We're also having Black Label. I just want my guests to have like really nice drinks and we can all enjoy it together. This is a Grenadian rum. It's called Dark Rum. And this is a product of Home, Grenada. So I wanted to make sure and share this with my company. I decided to open the Deserono Velvet. Excited to have that. I haven't tried it yet. And of course, we have some champagne. This is one of my favorites. Could never say the name, but I like drinking it nevertheless. So just sorting everything out. I was making ice. Well, my brother was making ice literally all week so that we can have the perfect amount of ice for our guests. And I still ran out of it. But anyways, I forgot the Coke. So let's grab that really quick. And now this is what this area looks like. Pretty inviting. I think it makes sense. I kept the non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages separate. And this is all of the food that I slaved over from early in the morning. I was really happy. Everything came out good. There's a fried fish. There's the baked chicken. We have paratha. We have curry chicken, some veggies. We have a salad, regular green salad, wings. This is my birds. The other one's in the kitchen. I only put out half of it. The macaroni pie turned out beautiful. And then we have the plantain, sweet potato, potato salad, plain white rice, and macaroni salad. And I also forgot to show the garlic bread. For dessert, we had cake, pumpkin pie, apple pie, and then some other little sweets that I had that I brought by for my guests, and also my homemade chocolate bark. Thank you all for your continued support. I'm really excited for what the new year has to offer. But until then, I'll see you all in the very next video.